Hello. Um, I am gonna be going over every book that I read in 2025. I read 31 books. I know that's not a lot. I remember when I was younger, I would read like over 200 books a year in like middle school, and then once I got to high school, it really sort of and it's sad, and my goal for this year is to read at least 50 books, hopefully more like 100. But also, a lot of these books I don't have physical copies of because I use the library a lot, and also just like reading on my phone. So if I have a copy, I'll like show it, but most of the time I won't. So let's get into it. So the first book that I read was Mysterious Skin. I read this because I kept seeing edits of the movie, but I was scared to watch the movie. So yeah, I read it. Basically, it follows two young men, they're like 17, 18, and they both had a very traumatic experience when they were younger, but they both had very different ways of dealing with it. And it's just really interesting. It's a really good exploration of like how trauma affects different people, and I thought it was pretty good. I didn't love the writing. It got a little boring. Some of the characters I didn't really care about. But I thought it was really good. I gave it a flat face. Okay. The second book I read was by one of my comfort authors. I wouldn't say like favorite authors. Actually, maybe I would. Solitaire by Alice Oseman. This was a reread because I was kind of in a reading slump, and I just read it on my phone because I'm addicted to my phone. It's not my favorite book of hers, but I really like it. I gave it a flat face. The third book I read was On Earth, We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong, and I heard a lot of people like kind of raving about this book, and I went in with pretty high expectations, but I really liked it at first, but then his writing got a little bit tiring, so I just got a little sick of it after a while, and I found myself getting a little bored with the story, so I gave that a flat face as well. The fourth one I read, it's extremely niche. The only other person I know that has read this is a friend of mine, and we both just love queer books, so obviously we'd both heard of this. It was You Should Be So Lucky, and it's set in the 1950s, 1960s. These two young men, one of them is a baseball player, the other is a journalist, reporter, who is doing he's reporting on him, and stuff happens, and I just thought it was really cute. I reread it 3 times, so I gave it a smiley face. Okay, the next book, number 5, this was another queer book. This was Annie on My Mind, and I got into this because I saw somewhere that it was one of the oldest sapphic books. It's YA though, and it got banned. It was kind of a big deal, but I didn't really like the writing. I probably would have liked it a lot more in elementary to middle school. I just thought it got a bit old after a while. I was I feel like I have pretty high standards for sapphic books, like, it has to be really good to give me a smiley face, and I think a lot of the things that the two girls that were dating did were morally very wrong. There was a thing they did, and they were acting like it wasn't a big deal, and I'm like, you're just making queer people look worse by doing this. Anyway, so I gave that a flat face. Maybe I should have given it a frowny, because I really didn't like it, but that's what I ended up giving it. Okay, number 6, this was Born to Run. This is a really well-known book within the running community. I'm a runner. But it's about ultra running, and it also is talking about this tribe in Mexico that is like super good at ultra running. Like, they just blew the field, and it just talks about, like, I don't know, certain like nutrition that's good for runners, and like it really endorses barefoot running too. And I kind of disagreed with a lot of the guys' takes. I'm like, maybe if you have grown up in a tribe and your body has adapted to this, but the way that we're living now, I don't think a lot of these things would be healthy. And he also talks about like eating only raw and like really strict diets, and I'm like, you're probably gonna be under fueling if you're restricting yourself this much. So I gave it a flat face, because even though I did disagree with a lot of his takes, I thought that the stuff about the Tarahumara tribe was really interesting. Okay, number 7, this was the Dhammapada. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it is one of the like original Buddhist texts, and I thought it was really insightful, and I love like philosophy and religion and spirituality, especially Buddhism and Taoism, and Confucianism and stuff like that. So I thought this was really interesting and insightful, and I even like in my journal I like wrote down a lot of this stuff, like I transcribed it, because I just felt like it really resonated with me, so I gave it a smiley face. Number 8, this was a graphic novel, YA, queer romance, called Bloom. I just read it on my phone, because I just like found it when I was really bored, and I thought it was so cute, but it started to kind of like piss me off after a little bit. I don't know how to explain it, but I don't know. It was okay, but I gave it a flat face. If you want like a queer, if you like Heartstopper, you would like this. Okay, number 9. This was another YA book, Life as We Knew It. I thought the concept of this book was so fascinating. Basically, this girl, she's just living a normal teenage life, and the moon moves closer to the earth, and basically it messes with everything, and they have to like, it's basically like the world kind of starts ending, and like I don't remember exactly what happens because I read this like almost a year ago now, but I just thought it was really interesting, and it's about like her and her family adapting to this sort of the world sort of coming to a halt, coming to an end, like, and there's a sequel that I'm meaning to read at some point. Okay, number 16, another Alice Oseman book. This was Loveless. It was okay. Again, I thought the character writing was really good, but the plot didn't really resonate with me as much. I think basically it's about a girl and it's her discovering that she's asexual, and I think it's really interesting because there's not a lot of like media about asexuality, so I think that that's pretty interesting, and it was pretty cool to read about, but I gave it a flat face because it was just fine. Number 17, I saw this on like Pinterest. I took like a Pinterest quiz, and it was like, which book title sounds cool to you? And one of them was Mrs. Death misses death, like she misses it. And I just remember thinking, wow, that's such a cool title. So I put a hold on it from the library, and I read it, and it was kind of boring and lame. Gonna be honest. But there were some things in it that I liked. I barely remember what it was about. It's like a guy who like meets death or something, or he's like working for her. I genuinely don't remember. I gave it a flat face. Number 18 was actually a book for school. It's called From the Ashes, and it was actually a memoir, and it's about a guy who grew up with a lot of like parental abuse, drug like addiction, and it's basically about him going through that himself, finding himself kind of going down the same path as his abusers, and then recovering from it and making a really great life for himself. I did like it. It was really depressing though. I gave it a flat face. Okay, number 19 was actually a straight romance, which I never read. It was Tokyo Ever After, and I saw like a booktuber reading this, and I was like, this just looks cute, I just want to read it. Basically, this regular girl finds out that she's like actually a princess in Japan, so she goes to Japan, and she kind of has her romance, it's with her bodyguard, but it's also just about her like adjusting to this life, and I thought it was cute. I thought it was good. I gave it a flat face though. I know I'm kind of a harsh rater. Okay, number 20. This one's pretty well known. It is The Inheritance Games. It's kind of like a mystery YA sort of thing. I forget what even happens. It's just like this girl gets wrapped up in like a situation, like someone dies and he like left something. I'm sorry, it's been so long. This is a really well-known book though. It's like a book talk book, but I get why it's so popular. I gave it a smiley face. The 11th book I read this year was Her Royal Highness, and this was recommended to me by a friend. It's a sapphic YA romance book, and I just like really enjoyed this. It's about a girl who goes to Ireland, I believe, for a boarding school, because she plays I'm getting mixed up with another sapphic romance book I read. Anyway, she is roommates with like the princess of Ireland or Scotland or wherever she is, and I really liked it. I give it a smiley face. It was really cute. If you like cute sapphic romance books with no smut, I recommend. The 12th book I read this year was also sapphic. This one's really well known. It's The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. A couple years ago, I read another book by this author about like a tennis player or something. I remember really liking this, so when I heard that The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo is sapphic, I was like, okay, I'm gonna read this now, and I really liked it. I thought everything in it was just entertaining. I read it in like a day. The pacing was great. It was super interesting. I loved the character. So I give it a smiley face. Okay, sorry, I was looking at my list and I like didn't remember what the book was. Number 13, this is kind of embarrassing, but it's another lesbian romance book. It's called Late Bloomer. This one is more adult, and basically, it's the most sapphic thing ever. 2 women on a flower farm. One of them is neurodivergent. It's just the most like sapphic thing ever. Basically, this woman buys a flower farm, and she doesn't, because she wants to like start her life fresh. She just broke up with her boyfriend, and this other woman is like confused because she's like, I thought I owned the flower farm, and they like are staying together, living on the flower farm, and they get together, and it was fun. I gave it a flat face. Okay, number 14. This is another Alice Oseman book. Osman, I don't know. I love everything she writes. I was born for this. This was also, I think, a reread. Kind of embarrassing, but her writing is so good. She does really good character writing, which is something that I really appreciate. If you haven't heard of it, it's a YA book. Everything she writes is YA pretty much. And it follows this really popular boy band and one of their fans, and they kind of become like intertwined. It's not really a romance book. It's more of a coming of age, but I really enjoyed it. I give it a smiley face. Number 15 was Everything Leads to You. This was also a sapphic romance book. I found myself getting more interested in the actual like side plot of them like trying to uncover like a mystery than the romance. Like, I didn't really care about the romance, but I cared about the side plot because the romance wasn't really that good. But I still gave it a smiley face, so I guess I liked it. Again, this was a while ago. 10th book I read this year I actually have a physical copy of. It was 1984 by George Orwell. I really liked this book. Honestly, not my favorite, like, dystopian book that I've ever read. I would say my very favorites are Fahrenheit 451 and Brave New World. But I still really liked this. The writing was really entertaining. The only thing I didn't like was the really long part in the middle where it's like the thing he's reading. I found that kind of boring. But I especially love the ending. I'm gonna be honest, in the beginning I thought that him and O'Brien were like gay for each other. The way they were acting, like, it was like O'Brien gave him like a glance, and I'm like, is this why this book was banned? But no, it's just like really dystopian. And yeah, I gave it a smiley face because good classic literature, I always like it. Number 28, this is another really popular like TikTok book. This was Bunny, and it's basically this girl in college becomes involved with these very strange cult-like girls who do a lot of very weird rituals and things. I love like bizarre, surreal books, so this was good, but I got a little bored of it by the end. I was like, yeah, I get it, they're doing this thing. Like, I want something more shocking to happen, and like the end it didn't really have the shock value that I thought it would, so I gave this a flat face. Number 29, I actually do have a copy of this, but I lent it to a friend. This was The Mountain in the Sea. I got this for my birthday, and the reason I bought it was because my dad and I were like looking at it, and this random guy comes up to us and he's like, this book is amazing, you have to get it. And I started wondering if it was like the author in disguise or something, the way this guy was hyping up the book. It was crazy. Basically, it's kind of toying with the idea that octopi, are like really like intelligent, and they could become sentient, or they already are sentient, and they're like developing. It's very sci-fi. There's like a lot of things going on. And the fact that there's a lot of things going on is the exact reason why I gave it a flat face, because I got a little lost in the plot, and I started getting confused, and there were a lot of time jumps, and I was just like, what is happening right now? Like, maybe I'm just not smart enough or committed enough to this book to really understand what's going on. But I still thought the writing was really good, and there were some really good quotes in there. So I gave it a flat face, but it's like a high flat face. That makes sense. It's like yeah. Okay, at this point I realized in editing that I accidentally put the clips in out of order, but just ignore that. Okay, number 21. This was A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. This is another really popular, like, book talk book. Basically, there's this murder that happened, like, a long time ago, and this one girl, her name's, like, Pip or something, thinks that they got the wrong guy, and she spends a lot of time trying to solve the murder, and she gets, like, infatuated, she gets obsessed, she goes to see a bunch of people involved, and it's basically just about her trying to uncover this mystery. This was another queer romance. It was, oh wait, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I gave it a flat face, by the way. Gwen and Art Are Not in Love was the 22nd book I read, and it's basically about a gay guy and a gay girl, and they're either friends or brothers or pretending to marry each other. Or not brothers, siblings. It's one of those three. I thought it was just okay. I give it a flat face. Okay, number 23 was another very popular, like, book talk YA book. This was The Selection, the first book in the Selection series, and I really liked it. I found it, like, really entertaining. Actually, the main character kind of was annoying to me. She seemed a little bit pick-me. She was like, oh, there's these beautiful dresses, but I would rather wear pants. And she just seemed to, like, a little bit of a pick-me to me. I know that's, like, a pretty classic trope with female main characters in YA books. But other than that, I found this really entertaining and easy to read. The romance kind of pissed me off, like, the guy was, like, a massive asshole, and she was also kind of a massive asshole, so I guess they, like, deserved each other, but anyway, I gave this a smiley face. Number 24, this was Nobody in Particular. This was another sapphic romance book. I thought I really liked this, but I guess I gave it a flat face. Basically, it's another, like, royalty, normal person thing, like the one I mentioned earlier. It's, like, the same exact thing. Just, I didn't like the writing as much, and I didn't like the, like, midway through the book breakup. Like, I prefer slow burns and romance at the end to, like, quick romance and then breakup and then romance again. I don't love that, so I gave it a flat face. Okay, number 25, this was The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. I absolutely loved this book. This book was so good. I want to read more of her stuff, actually. Obviously, I know what happened to her. It's very sad. And I am astounded that no one, like, actually, I'm sure people knew at the time that she was struggling, but, like, her writing, it's clear that she was hurting at the time that she was writing this. It almost felt like a really painful, like, personal journal entry. The stuff she was writing was so accurate to just, like, being in pain and being sad, and I thought it was beautiful and a really good reflection of just, like, a lot of issues with, like, stuff surrounding mental health and, like, how we treat women. And yeah, definitely one of the ones that was a standout this year. I definitely recommend. Number 26 was The Elite, which is the second book in the Selection series, and I don't know if I was just, like, in a reading slump when I read the first one, because I really liked it, but this one just felt, like, a lot worse. Like, I don't know, things were getting a little bit more, like, complicated, and with her and the prince, I was just getting kind of over it, and so I gave this one a flat face. Number 27, this was Never Let Me Go by, I'm reading another one of the author's books right now, The Buried Giant. I think I'll probably finish it soon. Never Let Me Go, I saw a YouTuber that I really like recommend it. He was like, this is one of my favorite books. I gave it a flat face. I really liked it at the beginning, okay? And then once the like twist happened, there was like so much more book. I was like, the point I was reading this was because I wanted to find out what the twist was, and now that I know it, I just am not really interested in the plot now. So like the first half I would give a smiley face, and then I was like, it got a lot worse. So flat face, unfortunately, but I love his writing. Okay, number 30, I have a physical copy. This is by one of my favorite authors of all time, Stephen King. This was Pet Sematary. This was maybe one of my favorite, definitely like at least top 3 books I read this year. I absolutely loved this book. It was so good. Okay, like I did know what was gonna happen after like I had read like pretty early in. I kind of knew like what was gonna go down, but it was so good. This book was so good. If you like Stephen King and you haven't read Pet Sematary, read Pet Sematary. I understand now why it is one of his most popular books. It was so good. I can't recommend this enough. I absolutely love this book. I obviously gave it a smiley face. I just found it really entertaining and creepy, but not too creepy. It was so good. A little background, I'm sure a lot of people know, but basically this guy and his wife and 2 kids moved to a new town, and there's some kind of strange things going on. That's all I'll say. The 31st and final book I read this year, I was very excited for this. I waited like months. This was Bottom of the Pyramid by Nia Sue. I'm a huge Dance Moms fan, and Nia was always one of my favorites, and I felt like she was really underrated, and she didn't get enough, like, to say. Like, she never got to really, like, tell her story. And even near the end of the show, even when she got, like, a little more screen time, it still didn't feel like enough. So I was really happy when I heard that she finally wrote a book. And I loved to read about her experience on Dance Moms and how it affected her, and a little more about like what was going on. But it wasn't the most entertaining thing ever, so I gave it a flat face. But no hate to her. I love Nia. I don't know if I really love Dance Moms, but because it's kind of like, was this really like an ethical thing to do? But it was great to hear like more of Nia's perspective, because I feel like we hear a lot from like the other cast, but she's been a little bit more like reserved on it, so it was great to hear takes. So yeah, that was the 31 books that I read this year. It was kind of like an unproductive reading year. I was on my phone a lot, but hopefully 2026 I'll be a little bit more, with it. So yeah,